Welcome to 1.1 day 2. Here is your problem of the day. We are looking at what is 6 squared. Well, 6 squared just means 6. If it lets me write. 6 squared is equal to 6 times 6, and 6 times 6 equals 36. So 6 squared is 36. Final answer. Now I want you to take a try on your own and do this one on your own. So pause the video right here. See if you can do this one on your own. And come back when you're done. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you had some time to solve this. So 7 squared looks like this. And it just means 7 times 7, which means 49. So 7 squared equals 49. Hopefully you got that correct. We'll be also doing this again tomorrow if you didn't get it this time. All right, so this time we are going to be converting decimals to rational numbers. Yesterday we did rational numbers to decimals, aka we did fractions to decimals, and now we're doing decimals to fractions. So today our main goal is we're going to identify the place value, then we're going to set up the fraction, and then we need to simplify if we need to. There we go. Vocab is same as yesterday. Rational numbers are vocabulary, terminating decimals stop, and repeating decimals they would keep going on and on forever. Okay, here is my example. So I have a long decimal there. It's 0.825. 0.825. I'm going to write it bigger over here. 0.825. To write this as a fraction, I need to look at the last decimal place. What is that last decimal place? Well, it is right here. It is the 5. Now I need to remember what my place values are. So in fractions, let me change my color. This place value is the 10th place. I can't spell it. Tenths. I still can't spell it. Bear with me. 10th place. This one is the 100th place. And this one is the 1000th place. All right, so as the numbers get bigger as they get smaller. I know that sounds funny. Over here is going to be your ones place. And then over here is going to be your tens place. And here is your hundreds place. All right, so how you make a fraction is we got to look at where the last place value is. So our last number here is that 5. So I'm going to highlight that for you. This is the last number. What place value is it in? Which one is it? It's not the hundreds. It's not the tens. It's not the ones. It is in the 1000th place. So the bottom of my fraction is going to have the number of the place value. So the bottom of my fraction is going to be 1,000 because it is in the 1000th place. I'm still on a highlighter. So 1000th place. So I'm going to make my fraction over 1,000. Now what number is in the 1000th place? You got it. It's 5. 5 over 1,000. I lied. It is not 5. It's 825. I was wondering. I was like, that's too small. It is 800. So the last digit gets you the bottom number, but you need to write the entire number on top of the fraction. There we go. I knew it looked weird. So 825 over 1,000. Now our last step is to simplify. To simplify this, we got to divide both top and bottom by the same number. So let's divide by what? What can we divide both by? Now we don't want it to make any more decimals. We just want to make the number smaller. So I see that the top number and the bottom number both end in a 5 and a 0. So I can divide both of those by 5. So let's start with that. So 825 divided by 5. 825 divided by 5. Let's do that up here if you don't know it. So 5 goes into 8 once. 1 times 5 gets me 5. Subtract gets me 3. Bring down the 2. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. And subtract gets me 2. Oh, gets me 5. 5 times 5 gets me 25. So I got up here, I got 165 over. I need 1,000 divided by 5. Let's see, 5 goes into 10 2 times, and then there's going to be 2 zeros left over, so it's over 200. Can I make that any smaller? Yes, I can. So 165 over 200. Let's divide by 5 again. 5 goes into 16 3 times. 3, and then there will be a 1 left over for 115, so it'll be 33 over. 5 goes into 20 4 times, it'll be a 40. So our final answer, now we have 33 and 40. There is nothing those two numbers share. I cannot divide those two numbers anything further without making another decimal. So our final answer is 33 over 40. Final answer. Kind of a lot of work, but hopefully you can get it. So we'll be doing this one together. So I see a whole number. We're not going to pay attention to that whole number right now. We need to look at we're going to look at the last part. So in my last picture, if I can go back, this one also had 3 place values. And that last place is the 1,000th place. So let's go to the 1,000th. So this one is also in the 1,000th place. So my fraction is going to be over 1,000. And then I have to take the rest of that decimal and put it on top. So 355. Now that 1 goes somewhere. It's in the ones place though, so it's not going to go next to that fraction. So it's going to be a 1 right next to it. So it's going to be, it looks like a mixed fraction. It's going to be 1 and 355 thousandths. And now we're going to divide these two numbers again. So let's divide, looks like I could divide top and bottom by 5. So divide by 5 on both top and bottom. You could definitely maybe use a calculator for this. These are pretty big numbers. 5 goes into 35 7 times. With nothing left over, and then 5 times it goes into 5, so it'll be 71, and 5 divided by 1,000, I think we said was 200 before. I don't think there's anything that can divide 71 and 200. There's nothing that can go into 71 and 200, the same number, so that is a final answer. Okay, you'll be doing check for understanding. Now we're going to be doing examples of a repeated decimal. I'm going to have to show you how this mathematically works, and then I'm going to show you the easy way. So how we got to do this, so first ignore the whole number on the side. We don't need the whole number yet. We're focusing on that 0.37. That 0.37 is in the hundredths place. So, but there's this repeating bar on top. And so I want to show you something. We can't just write 37 over 100. If that's not correct, because that repeating bar tells us to change it. So let me show you mathematically what it is. You might not understand it but then it'll hopefully click for why we have to do something else. Because the easy way to do it is we're just going to subtract 1 from the bottom. So our fraction is going to be 37 over 99, and let me show you why. So, for example, my example is let's do 0.7 repeating. Okay, let's just say x equals 0.7 repeating. Now I'm also going to do 10x. What does 10x look like? 10x is 7. It just moves over 1 decimal. So if it's 7 repeating, it also looks like 0.7777, or it looks like 7.7777. When you multiply a number by 10, it just moves over the decimal 1 spot, like that. So that's how we got 7.777 repeating. Now, to get rid of, how can we get rid of this repeating decimal? How can we get rid of this? Well, we're going to subtract it. So if I subtract 10x, let me rewrite this. So I have 10x equals 0.7 repeating. Oh, excuse me, 7.7 repeating, which is equal to 7.7777. And then I have x, which equals 0.7 repeating, which is equal to 0.7777. If I subtract 10x minus 1x, that leaves me with 9x. And then same thing with here. What happens if I subtract these? Those go away. So I'm left with 7. And then these go away. Left with 7. And then if I leave these set up as an equation, to get x all by itself, I divide by 9. Divide by 9. I now have 7/9 when this would have been 7/10. Now, this could have gone over your head, but if you just trust me, all you have to do is take the place value that it would have been in. So if this was 100, and we just got to subtract 1. This 0.7 up here, 0.7 repeating, would have been 7/10. But instead, all we had to do was subtract 1. And so it's going to be 7/9. Same answer that I got over here. So, trust me, the math works. Just subtract 1 from the bottom if you have a repeating bar on top. And don't forget that our 1s, so it would be 4 and 37 over 99. So let's do one more together. So I got 0.43 repeating. This is also still in the hundredths place. So it's going to be 43 over 100. But what do we have to do on the bottom because of that repeating bar? We have to minus 1. So I'm going to do, now what it is 43 is over 99. Now, I don't think we can't divide this any farther because 43 cannot be divisible by anything. So this is our final answer. Let me know if you have any questions.